I'm actually kind of fed up of using the same sort of intro like, well, it's the year 2025 and we're about to watch Martin O'Neill manage a game in Europe as Celtic manager, but quite literally, it's 2025 and we're about to watch Martin O'Neill manage a game in Europe as Celtic manager. This simulation is unreal, and can we continue the change of fortunes we've seen at Celtic in these last few weeks? Can we continue to ride the wave of momentum that Martin O'Neill has ushered in? Let's talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And I'm not here. That's right. Keep that in mind as this video goes on. I am not physically here as you see me right now. This has been pre-recorded on the Tuesday. Right now, I'm in Herning, which is in Denmark, of course, the home of FC Midtjylland. I will be present at the game on Thursday night as we take on the side who are top of the Europa League. Who would have thought we'd be saying that heading into this game? Celtic playing top of the league, Midtjylland. It's quite crazy. Martin O'Neill, he used to take teams down a peg in the past when he managed Celtic in Europe. Can he do that again? So here is that Europa League table. As things stand, Midtjylland, as I mentioned, are top 9 out of 9 and top of the league on goal difference. Celtic much further down, but we are in that top 24 right now with 4 points out of 9. A win against Sturm Graz in our last game, which ended up being Brendan Rodgers' last European game as Celtic manager, put us in good stead to try and qualify for the next round of the competition. But the next game, which is Midtjylland, won't be easy. We're playing a team who are in form, who are fancying their chances right now, and have already pulled off a couple of great results so far in the competition. And Celtic are still looking to steady that ship. Martin O'Neill has done a great job so far at steadying the ship for Celtic, with wins over Falkirk and Rangers in the League Cup semi-final. But the big test, you could say, comes now as he heads away from home in Europe. Celtic's European record since Martin O'Neill has left the club hasn't been great. In fact, Martin O'Neill was the last Celtic manager to win a knockout tie. Yeah, that's right. So we're hoping he can bring some of that back. And we should be playing this game with absolutely no fear. Just for my opening monologue right now, I want to make it clear. Just because Midtjylland are top of the group doesn't mean I think we should look at ourselves as underdogs. No, I think that this is a game that when the draw was done, I fancied Celtic's chances. I remember seeing Midtjylland play Hibs. I remember seeing how Hibs gave them a good game, and I thought to myself, Celtic should be heading to the MCH Arena in Denmark and fancying their chances and playing with zero fear. Now, I don't say that while also disregarding the fact that Midtjylland are clearly a good side who've started this competition well and should be respected. But at the end of the day, we're a Champions League club that somehow have found themselves in the Europa League this year. We should be beating the likes of Midtjylland. And when I think back to what Martin O'Neill used to do, even though I was a baby boy essentially, when I look back on it, and he used to beat the likes of Barcelona, and he used to beat the likes of Liverpool, and he used to beat the likes of all these other teams that he beat in his 25 victories, I believe. 25 victories in European competition for Celtic. I know for a fact that Martin O'Neill will be looking at this game without zero fear. And I think that he will bring back the culture of what Celtic should be looking to do in European football. Something that's been missing for, I would say, as far back as maybe when Gordon Strachan was in charge of the club. So, yeah, it's a huge game. We're looking to continue that build, that momentum that Martin O'Neill has kind of started in this past week. And it's crazy to think that if we could go up here and win, we flip the narrative of the Europa League entirely from where we were when we lost to Braga only, a month or so ago, would be crazy. So Martin O'Neill is back in Europe managing Celtic, and as I mentioned a moment ago, his European record saw him rack up 25 wins. Yep, 25 wins, 8 draws and 19 losses. To be precise, of course, those wins included big ones against the teams I just mentioned, wins across both the Champions League and UEFA Cup, and of course saw us go on that run famously to Seville in 2003, where sadly we stumbled at the final hurdle in extra time. But it's had a very, very impressive European record, 48% win rate for Martin O'Neill across all of those games against the standard of opposition we played. It is the most impressive European record we've had in the 21st century. There isn't even no even a comparison Like, we haven't reached those heights since. Gordon Strachan done very, very well too, across his attempts to the Champions League, but Martin O'Neill's record is unrivaled in this century. So I'm hoping he brings all of that feeling back. I think it'll be difficult. I'm not expecting it to be easy, but I'm hoping he can bring it back. What should we expect? I think we should be going to this game, and I think Martin O'Neill will set us up in this game to attack. To play the game like we would any other. To play as if we were playing Falkirk. To play like we were playing Rangers at the weekend. Of course, with the security of playing defensively sound. But that doesn't mean you sacrifice good attacking football. And I think Martin O'Neill will look to go for the jugular in this game. I think he'll look to do what he would have done all those years ago. And I'm looking forward to that. I really, really am. I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully a much braver Celtic side in European football. And bring it on, I say. Just bring it on. Now keep in mind, I will remind you once more, I am recording this on Tuesday night, which means neither Celtic or Midtjylland manager have sat down to do their press conference. We don't have any updates in relation to injuries, fitness, anything like that, and things can change very, very quickly. So if I'm talking about something that might be useless come Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon, I do apologise. I have flights to catch, which means I need to pre-record things. Keep that in mind, but we are going to go through a couple of the injury/squad related issues that are popping up before this big game. The injury situation pretty much stays unchanged from the weekend. The only player who might return to the fold against Midtjylland is Kelechi Iheanacho, depending on the update Martin O'Neill gives us. We know he was with the squad on Sunday at Hampden. He travelled with them and he was present at Hampden, but he wasn't involved in the matchday squad. I would be stunned to see him come back into the fold on Thursday. If anything, the bench at a push, but we'll wait and see what Martin O'Neill says. Apart from that, we know Alistair Johnston won't be back for this game. As things stand, of course, that could change. However, this is what Martin O'Neill said about Alistair Johnston ahead of the semi-final at the weekend. He said that Johnston is not close to returning and wouldn't be available for Hampden. And the fact that he said not close to returning makes me assume that he isn't close to returning for this game either. Of course, that is subject to change, and I would keep an eye on that, but it doesn't look as though Alistair Johnston will be available for the game. So, yeah, Vickers is out, as we know. Johnson will probably still be out. Iheanacho might be back, and the rest of the squad status basically remains the same from Sunday. But the big question that Celtic fans have is in relation to Callum Osmand. Is he available for selection against Midtjylland on Thursday? Well, simply put, as things stand as I record this video, no, he is not. However, he could be, because thanks to Scotland's coefficient on Twitter, they pointed out there is a possibility he could be registered due to the long-term injury of Cameron Carter-Vickers. So he can be registered if Celtic choose to deregister any player with a long-term injury, such as Cameron Carter-Vickers. Aberdeen have already utilised this rule. Each club can only do this for one player up until match day 6 in December. So of course this is match day 4, and it means if we utilise it now, we can't utilise it again beyond here till December. I think it would be very smart, because Vickers is out for 5 months, to use this on Callum Osmand. Now I know a lot of people will be saying, whoa, dropping a centre half for a striker, should we not bring the likes of Jemai Simpson-Pusey into the squad? I just don't see a point. I don't see a point. Dane Murray will have to suffice, and I know that Dane Murray hasn't covered himself in glory this year, but there's nothing there to suggest that a boy that hasn't played a single game for Celtic is going to do much better than what Dane Murray would if he was suddenly ushered into the team. You are relying on both Trusty and Scales to be fit for match days 4, 5 and 6. If that's the case, cool, we're sound. If it's not the case, Dane Murray stepping into the team is just as fearful as Jemai Simpson-Pusey stepping into the team. I don't think there's a hell of a difference. I would get Osmand in there. It's clear that O'Neill likes him. It's clear that there's a player there. And it's clear we should get him ready for these environments. I would just get him in. And if that's short-sighted, if you think that's risky, I don't disagree with you. I think it is. But I just don't see the point in bringing Simpson-Pusey in for him not to play at all when we could be using Osmand. So, just one man's opinion. I would bring Osmand into the squad in place of Cameron Carter-Vickers. Whether or not Martin O'Neill decides to do that, we'll probably find out during the press conference or afterwards. So that's the situation with our squad heading into the game. We'll do a starting 11 prediction at the end of the video. Let's talk about the opposition. So as mentioned, we head to Herning in Denmark. That is home of Midtjylland in the MCH Arena. And of course, without sounding like a broken record, they are top of the Europa League right now. They've enjoyed a very good start with big wins over Sturm Graz, Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, and Maccabi Tel Aviv in a neutral venue. They are second in the Danish Superliga right now, 2 points behind AGF, who are the league leaders. And funnily enough, Midtjylland's most recent league game came against AGF, where they drew 1-1 on Monday night. So Celtic are the fresher of both teams right now. But Midtjylland are enjoying good league form. They've only lost one game. The difference that separates them and the AGF is one extra draw to Midtjylland's name. So this is a team that is fit and firing right now. It is a team who are challenging for a league title, challenging for automatic qualification to the last 16 of the Europa League, with some players who are, quite frankly, tearing the house down right now. So this was the last starting 11 for Midtjylland, the team that faced AGF on Monday night, and as you can see, they favour a sort of a Christmas tree formation, a 3-4-2-1 if you like, according to FotMob. I may add, it might be wrong, but that looks to be the shape that they play when I look across different places, and you'll see there are plenty of players in form for this side. Over at right wing back, you have Osorio, who plays as a kind of attacking wing back. 4 goals and 3 assists so far. Or sorry, I should flip that. 3 goals and 4 assists so far. Their midfielders, Simser, Brumado, who are playing very, very well. And the star man up front, Francolino, who is in the form of his life right now. In 24 games this season, he has scored 16 and assisted 3. That's off the back of consecutive seasons where he scored more than 15 goals. But this year, he is another level, and he is the guy to watch out for. He's attracting interest over the continent, it seems to be. I think Everton have been mentioned with his name. Other big clubs across Europe as well, apparently watching him. He is the star man. He is the guy scoring the goals. And Liam Scales and Austin Trusty, they need to play the way they did on Sunday to contain this boy, because he's dangerous. He's quick. He's powerful. And he's got a deadly, deadly finish on him. So let's stop that from showing off. The manager of Midtjylland currently is Mike Tolberg, and if you are properly tuned into Scottish football and have been for a long, long time, you might recognise him from a brief stint at Hearts. He was on loan to Hearts in the 2009-10 season. He only played about 10 games for them, I believe, and he is currently the manager of Midtjylland. He had an impressive coaching career at Borussia Dortmund and throughout the continent, and now finds himself in charge of Midtjylland and has been since September, I believe. So it's all relatively fresh and new what's happening there, but it's working well. It's working very, very well, and this is going to be a tough game. I know I said that I'm going over here with no fear, and I think we should all be going over here with no fear, and we should be expecting Celtic to win, and I am. I am expecting Celtic to win, but I'm expecting it to be a very tough game. I feel like I'm in danger of sounding very overzealous or something, or very overconfident. Because what right do Celtic fans have to expect a win in this game when the squad's the way it is, the season's been going the way it's going? I just think that these are games that we should be up for, and if we're not, there's just no point in being here, because we should be in the competition above this, and we're not. And I know there's factors for that, but I'm going into it feeling confident. If we lose, we lose. You know, and depending on the manner we lose, I'll be like, okay, right, we lost to a good team, fair enough, but I think we should be challenging. I really do. Despite the problems that we face, we have a squad that should be going here and giving them a game. And this is the squad I think that will go over and give them a game. My starting 11 prediction is on screen, and I've made only one change from the team that started at Hampden on Sunday. And that's Kieran Tierney coming in for Marcelo Sirachi. Now, I know some people might disagree with that, and to be honest, I'm completely fine with Sirachi starting. Dare I say, I think Sirachi should start. But I have a feeling Tierney will come in. He got the assist for the third goal at the weekend. I think that Sirachi, in certain phases of the game, struggled. I think that Tierney's just due a start. He's not started the last 2 games. I just see him coming back into the team, if I'm being completely honest, despite how well I think Sirachi has done for the most part. So that's my team prediction. I don't see O'Neill making many changes, because what he's doing is working right now. What's happening with this squad is working just now, or this 11 I should say. And yeah, it's as simple as that for me. If there was any big other grand explanation to give you about why I've got this 11, then I would give you it. But I just think if it's not broke, don't fix it. I want to see the likes of Kenny build on his momentum. I want to see the likes of Engels build on his momentum. And I just want to see us pick up from where we left off on Sunday in extra time. We need the big performances from McGregor again. We need the big performances from Kenny again. And that's what will get us hopefully a result in this game. So there's my 11. There you go. Right, that does it for this then. Thank you for tuning in. I'm away to edit this and get to my bed. So apologies if anything's outdated. Apologies if there's any breaking news that changes a lot of what I've said. Hopefully we're all good to go. Right, I'll see you for the match reaction live from Denmark if I'm not too pissed. If I'm too pissed, then I'll see it at some point. Right, just keep that in mind. See you next time.